Brian's two questions yet?
Was it a cricketer at Bramall Lane, Brian?
I knew Chris would get it.
Yeah, it's Jeff Boycott.
Yeah.
Close.
It's not close. It's it's John Hampshire.
No, the question was, which was the last team to score 12 at Bramall Lane?
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire, correct.
12 without loss, 1973.
Yeah, and I asked, in relation to Arsenal's record, 14 FA Cup victories, who's actually played most at Wembley? And the answer to that, of course, is the Coldstream Guards.
Coldstream Guards band leader.
Yeah.
The man in the white suit.
They're only questions you can offer at a safe distance.
Brian,
Yeah.
one for you then. And what's the wettest racecourse in Great Britain?
Ooh.
I've heard this before.
Well, if you know the answer, Steve, then just hold fire with it for a moment.
No, can't. It'll not come.
And it's not coming to me, but I've heard
Okay.
somebody ask this before.
Still have
No, stumped. Oh, here he comes. He's finished eating his biscuits. We better tell him the answers to the quiz again.
Yeah.
I'll see if he knows.
Paul the biscuit.
Hello. I've come out in support of you, by the way.
Good man. Good
Got
man.
washing machines up there.
You've got to support your friends, haven't you?
Thank you. So, did you know the answers to the two questions?
I'm sorry, Keith. Just as the question was being posed, my little grandson rang me.
All right.
He's a bit bored on his holidays, but because his dad's gone back to work, so I didn't hear the questions. I'm sorry.
Right. The two questions were: who was the last team to score 12 at Bramall Lane?
Ooh,
And who Arsenal have won the FA Cup a record 14 times, but who has played at Wembley the most?
at Wembley. Could
So
be Man United.
I'll tell you the answers because everybody else knows the answers now. The first answer is Yorkshire, 12. And the second one is the Coldstream Guards. Right, now Chris has just asked another question. Do you want to repeat the question, Chris?
Yeah. What is the wettest racecourse in Britain?
Water.
No.
Bognor.
No. Well, I pay attention and tell everyone.
Yeah.
The wettest racecourse in Great Britain is Putney to Mort Lake.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Oh, get out.
We ran some little horses.
So
Okay.
did you all get Vino annuals
Oh,
for
dear.
Christmas then?
So we'll move on to the rest of Chris's part 6 of his dad's story. So over to you, Chris.
Thanks, Keith. Last week, guys, I didn't quite finish off part 6, and Keith's very kindly allowed me back on to do so. So these are the concluding comments of my dad's story in cricket and in sport. Without any planning of this, of course, it just so happens that yesterday was the anniversary of my dad's passing. So it becomes very apt this morning just to finish this off. So thank you for the opportunity. Okay. Up to recent times, this is April 2019, April last year. My dad was an invited guest of the Notts Committee at Trent Bridge for the match against Somerset, county fixture. Very cold day. One of the main committee members and a former Retford cricket club professional, who Keith Jackson certainly knows terribly well, Peter Hacker. He spoke on behalf of Notts, and he gave my dad the full acknowledgement for discovering and then mentoring Derek Randall, who obviously went on to be such a legend in Notts and English cricket. I took my dad to Trent Bridge on that day, and it was the final occasion that he ever visited his beloved old county ground. He enjoyed the day enormously from the committee rooms, and I was very, very proud of all his achievements, which meant so much to him. Peter Hacker's invite was magnificent, a magnificent gesture, and it was just a lovely day. There's a picture of my father in the committee. You can see that. That's my father. In his lapel, you can see V for volunteer. He was very proud of that he was given by the ECB, and he watched the whole of the proceedings from the comfort of a nice warm committee room. So that's that is the last picture of my dad at Trent Bridge. On Thursday, the 29th of August 2019, we gathered for my father's civil funeral service in Babworth, near Retford. And his funeral was attended by just under 200 family, friends and former teammates. It was an amazing turnout. Mike was given a formal guard of honour by significant people that had been very close to him during what was a quite extraordinary life. And these good friends in sport and in life, they stood in silence with the bats aloft, and as Mike passed to his final resting place. You might be interested to know who some of the people in that guard of 13 men. His guard included his heroes and his friends from Sheffield United's wonderfully entertaining 1970 team. It was Tony Curry, Ted Hemsley and Len Badger, and it was supported in person by skipper Eddie Colquhoun. All four of them were there. Mike's Retford teammates were also strongly in that guard. Alan Bull, Terry Johnson, John Brown, Keith Bacon and Keith Jackson. Former Nottinghamshire and Retford professionals Peter Hacker and Jamie Hart were in that guard, along with a man called Rob Condy, an Australian, played professionally for Retford in 2009. He flew from Australia for this funeral. That's the only reason he came to back to the UK. An extraordinarily nice young man who my dad and he were great, good friends. They spent a lot of time together. And all of those people raised their bats in deep affection. They were accompanied by my dad's oldest grammar school cricket friend, John Fawkes, who held up his bat one last time for his partner. And leading that guard was a certain Derek William Randall of Retford, Notts and England. And Mike, I'm sure, would have been pleased to see him again for one more chat at the wicket. This is the order of service from that day. And that photograph, which I have shown before, was probably my dad's favourite photograph. It's really the breakthrough moment when, as a young man, he played brilliantly at Trent Bridge and he won his contract for Notts. And that was the beginning of his professional career. So that's back in 1952. And the reverse picture is my favourite, which I took, which is my dad leaning on the gate of the pavilion at Trent Bridge on his 80th birthday celebrations. And that's a gate that he went through many times, but went through it to play on Trent Bridge. Those of you who support the red and white will not be surprised to know that Mike's procession entered the chapel to the sound of You Can Do Magic by Limmy and the Family Cooking,
Yes.
which took a few people by surprise. It also featured Rose Garden by
Yeah.
Lynn Anderson.
Yeah.
You've got to be a certain age to understand
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
And he went out, we all passed out to Dreadlock Holiday by 10cc.
I don't like cricket.
I don't like cricket. I love
I
it.
love
love
it.
it.
So that was a celebration of his life. Keith Jackson, our dear friend, and his wife Eileen were there. And I hope that we got the tone of it right, Keith.
Very good. Very good service. Very well done.
Yes, I was there as well.
I did receive a couple of phone calls from people who said, we make this comment with great respect. I went, yeah. They said, we actually enjoyed the day.
Yeah.
And I know what they mean.
Good. Yeah.
I know
that's
what
good.
they mean. It was,
Yes.
it was obviously sad, but it was also humorous, and it was reflection of my dad's career. This is not something that people know. This is quite not secret, but it's quite private. My dad's good friend in current cricket is Luke Fletcher. Luke Fletcher is the opening bowler for Notts County Cricket Club. And in his younger days, he was a fierce opponent of Retford Cricket Club when he played for Papelwick and Linby against Retford in the Premier League. He was a handful. When he learned of my father's passing, he donated his own personal first team Gun and More bat. And that is Luke Fletcher's fairly big piece of wood. That is Luke Fletcher's Gun and More bat. And he gave me that, and we used it in the Guard of Honour. So one of the people in the Guard of Honour used that bat and raised that bat. And he did that because he had so much respect for my dad as just a person in cricket. The side story is that for about 5 years, my dad tried desperately to get Luke Fletcher to play for Retford. And Luke would not break his loyalty to his club. And my dad really respected that. He loved loyalty. And so the two of them, although they were miles apart in age, they had this great relationship. And so that bat, I think, shows that. After the civil service, we all went back to a celebration of Mike's life at the West Retford Hotel, and there was a display of his greatest treasures. And I thought you'd like to know what the three of those treasures were. All his cricket caps from his career with the teams that you've heard me speak about. His racing colours, which clearly were always going to be red and white. And his Notts blazer, his Notts second team blazer, which again on one of the calls I did show, they were three of his treasures that, were there. But also on the day, an unexpected thing happened. An absolutely stunning floral display arrived from the directors and staff of Sheffield United Football Club. And that was very touching because there were no flowers. There were no flowers at this funeral, at my dad's request. The only floral tribute came from Sheffield United. And that was a very, very, very nice gesture. At a Premier League game against Southampton at Bramall Lane on Saturday, the 14th of September, a couple of weeks later, Tony Curry invited and hosted our family in his suite on behalf of the club. And Mr. McCabe, the then owner, greeted us in the boardroom at the end of the game. Mr. McCabe also organised a message of condolence in the matchday programme and on the stadium's PA and video screen at half-time. This was, again, a very touching tribute to a lifelong supporter of the club. It wasn't his fault. His dad took him, JB, in 1947, and that's it. That's it. And I was taken in 1963, and that's it. That's how it is. But that was the touching tribute. That was the match day programme from the Southampton game. And then, because it's difficult to show you a programme, that is the actual in memoriam article with a picture of my dad and my mum Mary, and it's a very touching article. The nice thing about it was that before my dad passed away, he did know that United had won back their Premier League place, and that was a source of great comfort to him. In spring this year, the Nottinghamshire Cricket Annual was published, and it included an obituary of my dad as a very proud former Notts player. My dad is described by his friend and the club historian Peter Wynne Thomas as a specialist batsman, a talented close fielder, appeared in 63 minor counties matches and 17 first class over a 7-year period at Trent Bridge. He was devoted to Retford Cricket Club and Bassetlaw cricket, and a man who was responsible for a number of young players who came to the fore through his help and guidance, the best known of which is Derek Randall. And that is quite a fair summary of a very good innings by my dad, by one of his closest friends at Trent Bridge. The sheer coincidence of that is that that's the Notts Cricket Annual, and it's Luke Fletcher who is actually featured on the front of the annual. It's just sheer coincidence, but it means that when you open it up and you see your father, you see your dad's obituary, it's a book that you'll never throw away. And again, it's very accurately written, very accurately written. Final comments, guys. My dad had reported on Retford Cricket Club's matches and related matters for the Retford Times for over 40 years at the time of his death. To my knowledge, he never missed any deadline, and the copy that he submitted was always handwritten. It was therefore very fitting, we all thought, that they printed a tribute to my dad, and it was on the front as well as the inside pages under a banner headline. And again, I've just reproduced that so you can see it on screen. The banner headline that week is "Tributes Paid to Cricketer Mr. Cricket."
Oh, Mr. Retford.
Sorry?
Mr. Retford.
Well, it could be that, yeah. And the paper, inside, the paper really does do justice to, I can't show you it properly, but they did justice to it, and they showed my dad at Trent Bridge, and lots of people saying some nice things about my dad. So Retford Times did well. Well, Michael John Hall was born on the 29th of May 1935, and he passed away on the 10th of August 2019. He played He played for the King Edward VI Grammar School. He played for Notts County Grammar Schools. He played for Worksop, Retford and Milton. He played for Nottinghamshire County Cricket Club and the Notts Cricket Association, the Sheffield Cricket Lovers Society, and the Bassetlaw League. With myself continuing to play at a much, much lower level, a humble level, as a man of 64, it means that the whole family have been in the Bassetlaw League for 100 years. Thank you very much.
Oh, well done. Thank you. Brilliant. Absolutely.
That's been a privilege, Chris. Absolute privilege.
Very good.
Yeah. Just a quick, King Edward VI School, where was that bit located?
That was in Retford.
Oh, right.
What happened was my dad won he did some early exams in Worksop where he was living, and he won his place at the grammar school, which was in Retford, a place he'd never even been to. And at 9 years old, he had to get on a bus and go to Retford every day to the grammar school, which apparently was pretty damn frightening. And what happened was he was so good at cricket that he was always the youngest player in the team. So he was in the first team at like 13. So his experience by the time he left the grammar school was, as a 17-year-old, his experience was massive of just playing the game he loved. But that was because he got there early as a 9-year-old. I can't imagine going to a secondary school at that age. It must have been really, really, well, quite harrowing, I suppose.
Lol, you got a question?
Yeah, for Chris.
Yeah.
Are there any younger members of the family taking over the tradition at all?
Right.
Are there brothers?
Good question, Lol. The circle stops now.
It does.
Because I don't have a family. I don't have a young lad or a young girl. I have a grandson who has promised me, he's only 7, but he has promised me that when he makes his debut for any senior teams, I will get tickets. I don't quite understand that, but I've made him sign a contract. My brother has a young daughter, a 25-year-old, my niece, but he doesn't have a son, and that daughter is not a sports lady. So, no, the answer is lol. The circle is basically complete. When I decide that I'm not going to play even one more match, then we're all retired. Although my brother, as you will hear in the future, my brother is immensely involved in Bassetlaw and Premiership cricket because he's a leading umpire. He's getting his own back. So he continues as an umpire.
Yeah. Ian?
Chris, reading your narrative and also putting your recordings on the website, I've sort of had a chance to review all that you've said. But there was an aside you made last week when Derek Randall came back after a long period of absence, when you said the relationship was strained.
Yeah.
I thought it was an odd comment, given the close relationship and all your dad had done for Derek Randall.
Yeah.
Are you going to, or is it an impertinent question? But
it's a very good observation, because I did say it, and I said it because that's the reality of the situation. There's lots of very good things that happen, and the majority are excellent. And my dad and Derek, as evidenced by Derek leading that Guard of Honour, for example, finished the closest they could possibly be. But there was a period where fame, fortune, other influences, other people, they play a part, and sometimes you grow apart. So that's what happened in the mid 80s. They certainly were not as close. What I did as secretary of Retford Cricket Club, I constantly kept Derek in the loop. I invited him to everything. He became a life member of the club, and through my efforts, we just kept contact with him. But the contact with my dad was by no means as it was when he was a 9-year-old up to about a 22-year-old. You know, things change. Yeah. And I'm pleased to say that they finished on the best of terms.
Brilliant. Thank you for answering that.
No problem.
I just think, I hope I'm speaking on behalf of everybody here. It's been a fantastic series about his dad and his granddad.
Thank you.
And marvellous. Yeah. Personally, I can't wait to hear about Nigel, Chris's brother, because I believe that Nigel is a special cricketer in his own right. So we are going to get sort of the end of the circle, if you like, for the time being, maybe in a couple of weeks' time. But we're going to get that, and it's fantastic. But I'd like to say personally, Chris, it's been a fantastic series, and I'm sure we'll get some more stories out of you about cricket, and maybe some of the things that you've done in cricket as well.
Yeah, I could bore you with a couple of things. Can I just say, have I got time to say one final thing from me?
Of course.
I just want to thank the group, because when Keith asked me to do this, it means you've got to get yourself sorted. You've got to get your information together. You've got to remember things that are so easy in a family to just forget. So I want to thank the group because it's been enormously, what's the right word? Enormously just helpful to...
Therapeutic.
Yeah.
Therapeutic.
Yeah, therapy. And the other person who absolutely loves what we've done is my mum, Mary, because she's able to view the recordings.
Oh, bless her. Yeah.
And she just thinks it's obviously sad, but in other ways it's very uplifting because of the things that my dad did. And a lot of them, as I've said, were only possible because of Mary. So thank you to the group, and I hope I've done justice, partial justice to what went off with my granddad and my dad. They're amazing people.
Yeah, well done.
Well done. Right. Okay. We need a quiz. Has anyone got a quiz handy? Is that
I've got a load of quiz questions on those cards I've had, but if anybody's got a proper quiz, I bow to them.
All right.
No, go for it, John.
I could give you a few, couldn't I? Right. Which team dominated the Winter Olympics ice hockey medal tables between 1920 and 1952, claiming 6 gold medals and 1 silver?
Canada.
Czechoslovakia.
What did you say, Ian?
Canada.
Canada. Yeah, Ian's right. What is the female equivalent of golf's Walker Cup?
Solheim Cup.
Not according to this card.
Oh no, that's Ryder Cup equivalent.
Yeah, it's amateur. Curtis.
Curtis.
Good answer.
Not the Norman Curtis Cup, but
Tony Curtis.
the Tony Curtis Cup, right? Ernest C. Connor ran the New York Marathon in 5 hours 18 minutes. This is a specialist question for Paul the Biscuit here. In 1980, why was this still considered a really quick time?
He was in a diving suit.
No.
Run it backwards.
Costume involved apart from his. Sorry, what was that?
Run it backwards.
He ran it backwards.
Backwards. Good answer.
Backwards. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a challenge for you, Paul. Yes,
I have
Big
all.
Paul.
I'm running it forwards.
Big Paul.
Just talking about marathon, as I haven't heard it mentioned here today. It's only for the London Marathon's now only for elite runners.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it what for the foreseeable future, or
No.
or what?
No.
Or you can run the marathon on the day in your own location and claim your medal.
Yes, you can.
Right, my stairs are going to take some hammer then.
Yeah. and do you know how many laps of St James Park the elites have got to run on to do the marathon?
Is that St James Park, Newcastle, or Exeter?
As in the Royal Park, they've got to run 19 laps.
Wow.
They're going to get dizzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What milestone did Turkey's Hakan Unsal? Sorry.
Yeah, Paul's got a question. Big Paul.
Right. Sorry, Paul.
No, I was just going to ask my namesake again. Was your wife down to run it initially, Paul?
Yes, she is. Yeah. So she's looking into doing exactly what Ian mentioned about running the marathon in her own locality.
Right. Yeah.
My daughter, decided to run it next year, which was the other option. As you got a ticket for this year, you can either withdraw or run as Paul's wife going to do, or actually bid for a place in the next year's race when they open.
You can still do next year's and do the sort of virtual race this year as well. So
can you?
Sorry, just have one or the other. Yeah.
I was badly beat by my daughter. I shall tell her off.
Yeah, the curious thing is you've got 24 hours in which to run it. You can do it any time between midnight and 23:59 on the day. So if you want to run 5 miles and have an hour off and then run another 5 or whatever, you can do that.
And
Pass on that.
Paul, do we need to come and line the streets?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when she's going to do it.
Yeah. So when she does it, Paul, will she equal your total of marathons?
I'm not letting her count that. No, no way. Not a chance.
Right. Shall I carry on?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
What milestone did Turkey's Hakan Unsal set during the 2002 World Cup finals? It
Was it
involves
the
a disciplinary issue.
All right.
Sent off in every game.
Sent off is the key.
Quick first minute.
No.
Twice in the tournament.
No. He became the 100th player to be sent off in the World Cup.
All right.
Yeah.
Get a medal.
Yeah. But yeah. How did baseball player Tom Glavine manage to break a rib?
Is it while he was playing or?
Smacked himself.
No, he wasn't playing.
He wasn't playing.
What did he do, Keith?
Smacked himself.
Well, he might have done as a result of what he did.
Laughing?
He threw up after eating an in-flight meal on an aeroplane and broke his rib. Who was the first woman to break the 11 seconds barrier in the 100 metres?
My ex-wife.
Is it Wilma Rudolph?
No. I've not heard the name, but it sounds Eastern European to me.
My other ex-wife.
Oh.
Did your ex-wife's former relay team, Ian?
Only one who chose
Christina at Dudworth Colliery when she fell down mine shaft.
Renata Stecher. Stecher.
Yeah, I do remember her.
Remember her?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Which gymnastic event has only been part of the Olympics once in 1932? You used to see this regularly on Sunday night at the London Palladium.
Juggling?
No, it's not the Chinese twisted plates.
Juggling?
Juggling.
What?
Juggling.
Close, very close. Yeah, Indian clubs.
Indian clubs. Yeah.
Indian clubs, 1932 was an Olympic event.
That's what they call Navy physical education instructors, club swingers. Because on board ship they used to use clubs to keep fit and all this nonsense. So they used to call them club swingers.
And do they go to swingers clubs?
It's not because they went to some dodgy clubs.
As well, yes.
This next question, I think it's got more than one answer, but anyway. Which football team originally started out as a cricket team?
Oh, yeah. Loads.
United.
Sheffield United.
Loads. But the answer they give is Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I wish they were still a cricket team.
So do I.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe we would score 12 as well.
They've been beaten by an Indians once or twice this season, haven't they?
Yeah. You know, sometimes it's horrible being here. Which sport did 20,000 people gather to watch in Turkey in 1994? A very specialist event.
Tell me it wasn't a public hanging.
It wasn't. And Ed Dalton used to have one of these in the Libyan desert.
Tank pulling.
Camel racing.
What was that?
Tank.
Camels, yes. Camels.
Camel racing.
No, camel wrestling. Yeah. I think that's enough for now, don't you, Keith? Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Right, we're down to less than 1 minute, so I'll be touching on next week. Thank you, everybody, for everybody input this week, and we'll see you all next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks.